Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. And today, being the first day of 2017 that I'm recording a video, this video probably will come out later than that, I wanted to do a video that I think is really important. I've been thinking about a lot ever since I did this video on whether or not a guy should pay for the first date. So yes, for those of you that are wondering, this will be one of those man and masculinity videos. If you want to check out the whole series, you can check them out here. They've been growing. I do these maybe, I don't know, once a month it seems like. That's probably about right. Maybe maybe twice a month. But anyway, I wanted to talk about a topic today. As I was hanging up something on my wall, you might have noticed a change on my wall. I have my medals from my running, and it says on the plaque here, or on the medal hanger, whatever you call it, it says here, think strong, be strong, finish strong. And so I want to talk about two things here. I want to talk about, first of all, in the context of you guys out there, you men out there, what this means, what strength means, and how you should view things. And then in general, because I think this message doesn't just apply to guys, but it really specifically is more important for guys out there, and I'll tell you why in a second here. So let's talk about what does it mean to be strong, first of all. I think there's a lot of confusion about this, right? So to be strong, it doesn't necessarily mean physically strong, although I think that's a part of it, because strength, physical strength, comes from an internal strength. But to be strong, what it means is that when other people are being weak, when they're obviously, circular definition, but when other people are letting circumstances hit them and affect them and letting them become confused or fearful or unsure of what to do, it means not doing that. It means that you stand forward and you say, no, I have a solution. I'm going to step forward. I'm going to take action. That's what strength is. Strength is basically the ability to take action under harsh circumstances. That's how I'll define strength in this case. And now let's talk about a little bit. I think we all have different ideas, but we can kind of picture in our head what it means to be strong. What is a strong person, right? You can think of a strong person. I want you to kind of picture in your head the strongest person that you can think of, and not just physical strength there, although they'll probably be physically strong as well, but mentally strong, strong in a very masculine, forceful, take action type of way. I want you to picture that in your head, because that's what I want you to think of with strength. I want you to think unflappable, unshakable, just the ability to push through and break through obstacles. That's what strength is. And for you guys out there, this is something that I think is critically important to understand, is that at no time in a guy's life is it acceptable to not be strong. And I know this is going to be one of those things that's going to slap you in the face. It's fine, but you got to understand that this is true, and I'll explain why this is true. You'll see that this is true in a second here. Think about it, okay? Do guys ever like weak guys, right? Do guys ever say, oh, that guy is weak, I appreciate that, he's showing vulnerability and weakness? No, never. It never comes across. You never appear, you never gain favor with men, with guys, right? With your tribe. No one wants a weak guy. No guy wants a weak guy. They don't want to be buddies with a weak guy. It's not an attribute. It doesn't mean that you don't necessarily accept someone who's weak. Don't get that confused. I'm just saying it's not a positive attribute. You never say, oh, this guy showed his weakness, I like that. Whereas with a female, with a woman, you might say, oh, she's weak, I want to protect her, I like her, I love her because she's weak, right? I mean, that could actually even happen, right? That does happen for some of you guys. Like, just the attribute of being weak makes you feel like you want to be a protector and that you want to be strong, and that actually could create an attraction. You might actually like a woman, a female, because she's weak, but you will never say, oh, I like this guy because he's weak. You would only say it if he's strong. Being strong is a positive attribute as far as a male approval of you. Not that you should seek approval from others, but at least within your tribe, right? To be the strong kind of male within your tribe. And what I mean by tribe is your peers, what you consider to be your peer group. That's a positive attribute. So for a guy, being strong to other guys is always positive. Being weak is always negative, right? Now let's flip this around and say, what do women think of strong or weak guys? Do women ever find weakness in a guy to be attractive? No. Pretty much no. Now, they may tell you that they do, but honestly, every single woman, when they see weakness in a guy, they think that's pathetic. They don't think, oh, let me go and help that guy. It doesn't mean that you don't have any kind of vulnerability. It doesn't mean that you don't have any kind of weakness. It's what you show. Do you show strength or weakness, right? See, a woman might be able to tell in a guy that he's got some vulnerability or that he's got some weakness, but the persona that he's putting off his strength. She might be able to see through that and say, oh, I can see that he's hurting, or I can see that he's struggling with this, but he's taking it like a champ. He's marching through the swamps of sorrow. He's taking up arms, he's fighting, he's taking action, he's not wallowing and looking for sympathy, right? So there's a difference there. But if you think about it, right, and this is, again, very critical to you guys, is that women always will see strength as positive and weakness as negative for guys. You have to understand that, because I think a lot of you, right, are looking for the time when you can stop being strong and when you can be weak. And there is no time, think strong, be strong, finish strong. There is no time. There is not a reprieve. As a man, you're never going to get that reprieve. And some of you might be saying, well, man, that kind of sucks. Well, it might kind of suck, but if you embrace this, if you try this context on in your life and you realize that you're just going to be strong and you just are going to, by default, be strong and draw strength all the time, and other people are going to draw strength from you, and that's okay, because that is what you're designed to do, is to be strong, to break through barriers, to take action, to be brave in the dire circumstances. When the shit hits the fan, that's when you jump into action. That's when you take action and you power through things. If you have that mental strength, if you have that physical strength, if you've got that indomitable will and you're willing to take action and be strong all the time and not show weakness, that's gonna be such a positive thing in your life. And if you accept that role, it won't be so hard. But it's when you're fighting that role. Again, I've talked about this a lot, but there's an excellent book called The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida, and you can check out just the first chapter in this, where he talks about waiting for things to be finished. And this is something that I struggled with a lot in my life, is because I wanted to get to this point where I could finally rest, where I could stop being so strong. And I didn't realize that the strength that is me, that is what I need to seek, and that I don't need a reprieve from that every day is going to be battle, and that's fine, because when you expect that, then it makes more sense. So you just got to think of it this way, right, guys, that you got to realize that strength is always going to be expected of you, and it's always going to be valued in you. And weakness is always, by men, by women, it's always going to be looked down upon, right? And it's okay. It doesn't mean that you can't have weakness. You do have it, but it's what do you show to the world, and what face and what attitude do you take, right? Because we're all going to have weaknesses, right? There's not a person born that doesn't have a weakness. I've got 100 different weaknesses, but I won't show those weaknesses. I will always present a strong face as much as I can. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, of course, but I will show the strong front, and I will deal with my own weakness. I don't expect someone else to deal with my weakness. I don't expect sympathy. I don't expect empathy. I don't expect to be coddled or taken care of because I lack strength. Instead, I'm going to show strength, even where there's little, even where there's not much strength. I'm going to show as much of it as I have. And so this concept of being strong, I think it applies mostly to men. I think that it's okay, it's acceptable, and it's actually good in some ways for a woman to show weakness, to exhibit her weakness, right? We all have weaknesses, we all have strength, but for a man, it's just not good to show that weakness. You're expected to be strong by other men, by women. For a woman, it's okay to show that weakness. It's okay to reveal that, especially the vulnerability that actually creates attraction, but it does the opposite, right? And it makes sense, right? If you think about this, right? For those of you guys that are still struggling with this and don't understand, and I understand where you're coming from if you're struggling with this, because you may perceive yourself as weak, right? And you may say, well, there's other ways. No, there's not, honestly. If you think about it, right? A lot of you that perceive yourself as weak or don't see the strength or don't value strength, what you'll find is that what you value in women, right? You wanting to be this white knight and want to be all chivalrous and stuff, and a lot of you that are stuck in this nice guy syndrome, it's because you want to save the maiden in distress. You do, right? So why? You can't save someone who's way stronger than you. No, you're embracing that weakness, actually, the vulnerability. So relationships, this attraction is always a polarization, right? There's always the opposites. And so if you think about that extreme opposite, right? If you want to put this psychologically into a context that you can understand, think about the opposite. Think about that vulnerability, that weakness, that wanting to save a maiden in distress. And the exact opposite is what women think towards guys as far as strength goes. So if you want to be the kind of guy that's going to attract women, if you want to be the kind of guy that's equivalent to the maiden in distress, you've got to be strong. You've got to have strength. And we could talk about how to build strength. I don't think we're going to get into that into this video, or in this video, because this video has already gone on pretty long, but just know that strength is an important attribute, and that you've got to develop your strength, right? The mental strength, the physical strength, I think for a guy is pretty important. And how do you develop that? I think that we'll leave that off for another time. But hopefully this sort of put you in the right mindset to understand a little bit about strength and how important it is, especially for you guys, and do not wear your heart on your sleeve. Do not show the vulnerability or weakness. You're not going to get what you want if you do that. You just have to remain strong and be strong all the time, and just have that mindset. Again, that's why I like that. Think strong, be strong, finish strong. Always strength, always coming with strength, never ever coming in a moment of weakness, because it's not appreciated by either sex, and it's not going to give you any kind of value out of that. There's no value in weakness for a man. All right, I hope you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and click that subscribe button below if you haven't subscribed already. Thumbs up are always appreciated. And let's get a roar in the comments if you want to come and present 2017 with your greatest strength. And I will talk to you next time. Take care and stay strong.